Are scrambling to find an interim leader after deadly anti-corruption protests toppled the government and left parliament in flames. Sarawak has made history by developing its first ever gallium nitride-based chip through a strategic partnership with XFAB Dresden, Cambridge Microelectronics and the UK's CSA Catapult. Sarawak Premier Datuk Patinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg calls it a major breakthrough, as Sarawak can now design and produce its own chip for the very first time.
This strategic partnership will enable SMD to design and develop a Sarawak-owned chip, leveraging the emerging potential of GaN technology for next-generation applications. This is because of AI. In the longer term, the plan is to transfer this advanced technology to Sarawak, thereby strengthening process capabilities and expanding production capacity of XFAB Kuching.
Gallium nitride, or GaN, is being held as the next-gen semiconductor. It can handle more power, run more efficiently, and take up less space than silicon. It's already fueling breakthroughs from electric vehicles and renewable energy to high-speed communications and industrial tech. Sarawak's GaN project falls under its Semiconductor Roadmap 2030, eyeing 2 billion ringgit in investments, 10 global partnerships, 3,000 jobs, and just as many local graduates. Abang Johari said the new Advanced Chip Integration Center in Samajaya will anchor global R&D, paving the way for future chip innovation. And with 95% of XFAB Kuching's workforce made up of Sarawakians, the state is positioning itself as ASEAN's next semiconductor hub.
Sarawak has also emerged as ASEAN's leading semiconductor hub, driven by Malaysia's national semiconductor strategy to boost the country's role in the global supply chain. Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim says beyond its status as a renewable energy powerhouse, Sarawak is now all set to become a center for high-value innovation and chip production.
I'm not exaggerating, but given the geopolitical scenario now, and the centrality of Malaysia and ASEAN, engaging both United States, China, Europe, Asia, and now even Latin America and Africa, we are in the best position to be seen as stable, as central, as prepared to engage with all countries.
Meanwhile, Premier Sarawak Datuk Patinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg said the state is ready to partner with Putrajaya to build a world-class chip ecosystem under Malaysia's Silicon Vision and National Semiconductor Roadmap.
We believe this partnership will help speed up our efforts in building local talent and developing intellectual property in chips and design and production in Sarawak.
Semiconductor giant XFAB is pouring 3 billion ringgit into its Samajaya High-Tech Facility Park, boosting capacity from 30 to 40,000 wafers a month, with 50,000 next in sight.
The increased production capacity will support a wide range of applications, from automotive and medical technologies to industrial systems and communication and consumer products. These are critical sectors that shape modern life, and it brings us great pride to know that components manufactured here in Kuching, Sarawak
Abang Johari said the expansion is a clear sign of international investors' confidence in Sarawak's industrial ecosystem. He attributes the success to the skilled local talent, with 98% of expats' workforce being Malaysians and nearly 95% of them from Sarawak. Thus far, the Samajaya Free Industrial Zone has created more than 15,000 jobs and attracted investments worth 15.4 million ringgit.
Meanwhile, Anwar announced that the Sarawak Premier will take Malaysia's national semiconductor strategy to the ASEAN summit. He says Sarawak was chosen for its green energy drive, its rising role in the chip industry, and Abang Johari's track record in high-tech development.
In conjunction with the ASEAN summit, we will also promote the semiconductor strategy, competitive incentives to foreign firms, and of course the best positioning to articulate this position on behalf of the country. And Sarawak will be premier, so he will be the star in that show. I don't have that much expertise. No, he's more bioengineering.
In other news, Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim has agreed, at least in principle, to consider increasing parliamentary seats for Sabah and Sarawak. But any concrete move will need further talks and review by the Election Commission. Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Seri Fadilah Yusof says the issue was raised during today's Malaysia Agreement 1963 Action Council meeting, chaired by Anwar himself.
Berkait dengan kerusi Parlimen akan dibincangkan lebih lanjut lagi sebab dari segi perundangan pandangan yang berbeza dan berbeza lah di antara peguam besar negeri Sabah dan Sarawak dan juga dari sudut pandangan peguam besar dari peringkat persekutuan. Tapi dari secara prinsip dipersetujui tadi yang Berhormat Perdana Menteri mengatakan bahawa perkara ini boleh dipertimbangkan tapi tertakluk kepada perundingan dan perincian seterusnya.
Fadilah made clear that changing parliamentary seats takes a two-thirds majority in the August House, while state seats are strictly up to their own state governments. Welcome back. The Education Ministry is launching a nationwide audit of boarding schools to tackle bullying and abuse. Education Minister Fadlina Sidek says the review will scrutinize safety systems and guidelines with one goal: to better protect students in dormitories. She adds that a new school reform committee is now in place, tasked with toughening disciplinary rules, updating anti-bullying guidelines, and strengthening child protection policies.
Banyak audit itu dilaksanakan untuk memastikan keselamatan, isu-isu keselamatan di asrama. Kemudian kita juga dah maknanya memulakan inisiatif jawatankuasa reformasi keseluruhan sekolah dan sedang melihat bagaimana beberapa peraturan disiplin dan juga yang terkait rapat dengan garis panduan menangani buli di sekolah ini perlu diperkemaskan, termasuk child protection policy yang pastinya diperjuangkan oleh YB Nancy juga di peringkat kementeriannya.
She stresses that bullying is no minor disciplinary issue, but a direct threat to students' rights and well-being.
Jadi soal kaunselor, soal intervensi yang bukan saja sifatnya menghukum tetapi juga mengembalikan anak ini dari segi moral, adab, akhlak dan integriti serta pembinaan saksiahnya juga harus diberikan tumpuan. Jadi sebab itu bagi saya buku ini kita tidak lihat dalam konteks asrama saja.
Meanwhile, Fadilna Side says Sarawak has seen 388 dilapidated school projects greenlit, worth a total of 3.8 billion ringgit. So far, 259 have been completed, while the rest are still underway.
Ini komitmen berterusan daripada kerajaan Madani untuk memastikan semua projek sekolah daif siap oleh Sarawak. InsyaAllah dalam rancangan kita itu semuanya on track. Mudah-mudahan dapat kita siapkan dan tidak ada sesiapa yang tertinggal dalam konteks memastikan infrastruktur selamat dan juga kondusif untuk anak-anak kita belajar.
Fadilna says beyond infrastructure, the focus is also on boosting English proficiency without sidelining Bahasa Melayu's role as the national language. In Nepal, the president and army are scrambling to find an interim leader after deadly anti-corruption protests toppled the government and left parliament in flames. The Himalayan nation of 30 million people plunged into chaos this week after security forces cracked down on youth-led demonstrations and violence erupted on Tuesday, resulting in 51 deaths. But by Wednesday, the military had retaken the streets and enforced a curfew as the army chief and Nepalese president met with key figures and representatives of Gen Z, the movement driving the unrest.
Disagreement between rival faction remains, although 73-year-old Sushila Karki, Nepal's first woman Chief Justice, is a leading candidate. But Gen Z protester Tika KC says Karki is not the right person for the job.
हामीले यो नेतृत्व खोजेका हैनौं हामीलाई मतलब जेनजी पुस्ताले छानेर पठाएको प्रधानमन्त्री हुनु पर्यो हामीलाई सुशीला कार्की चाहिदैन.
Meanwhile, youth activist Sudan Gurung says the youth's role is to be watchdogs and calls for people with more experience to join the government.
जहाँ जुन पोस्टमा जान्छ नि हैन त्यो पोस्टहरुमा चाहिँ हामीले राम्रो राम्रो मान्छे पठाउने जो एकदम काम गर्न सक्छ जो निस्वार्थ छ र देशको लागि मात्र देशको हितको लागि मात्र सक्छ उनीहरुलाई मात्र पठाउने हामीले.
Police crackdowns left at least 21 protesters dead on Monday after a social media ban sparked fury over corruption and failed governance. Protesters struck back on Tuesday, setting parliament, government offices and a Hilton hotel ablaze, forcing 73-year-old Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli to resign.
See the world closer with TVS as we bring you the latest news updates both locally and internationally. For more headlines anytime, anywhere, just head on to our official website at tvsarawak.my or follow us on our social media platforms at TV Sarawak. And those were the updates on TVS Nightline. I'm Razi Ahmad. Thank you for watching and have a good night.